And adultery. Also answering questions today, 41-year-old Suzanne Corona with her husband beside her appeared in Batavia City Court this afternoon, and with cameras rolling, she held court moments before she entered the courthouse. 13 Wham Sean Carroll was there.
Suzanne Corona and her husband Joseph appear ready to fight the adultery charge she now faces.
I think the adultery charge is extremely unfair and uncalled for. My husband is standing beside me, and he called the DA himself this morning and wants it dropped.
I forgive her fully, and I wish that the charges were dropped and that we could resolve this as man and wife. It's more of a private matter. The police didn't even tell me what the charges were and if they consider me a victim.
Police say parents and children saw Corona and 29-year-old Justin Amend having sex on a picnic table at Batavia's Farrell Park Friday evening.
We were not naked on a picnic table. We were sitting there on the bench, fully clothed. His pants were on. My clothing was on.
But Corona admits a sex act was occurring and says she regrets what's happened.
Well, of course I do. It's a terrible situation that occurred. I feel terrible for the mothers that are offended.
Of course I'm hurt by all this, but I've got 40-some more years to spend with my wife. I'm not going to throw it away over one incident.
I'm ashamed for my family and what I've put them through.
The judge gave Corona 2 weeks to find a lawyer of her own, and on the way out of the courthouse, she told me she plans at this point to challenge the constitutionality of the adultery law. Reporting in Batavia, Sean Carroll, 13.
Evening, a Genesee County woman accused of adultery answered charges this afternoon in a Batavia courtroom.
And if you have children in the room, you'll want to send them away during this story because of its adult content. News 4's Luke Moretti spoke to the woman and her husband.
Fully clothed.
41-year-old Suzanne Corona of Batavia, with her husband by her side, appeared in city court. She's accused of public lewdness and adultery. Batavia police say one of their officers saw Corona and 29-year-old Justin Amend of Oakfield having sex on a picnic table in view of children and other adults during the day on Friday.
He had a shirt and his pants were down.
That's not true. That's not true.
Corona calls the adultery charge unfair and uncalled for. She maintains that there was nothing a child could have seen.
We were not naked on a picnic table. We were sitting there on the bench, fully clothed. His pants were on. My clothing was on. Yes, it was inappropriate to behave in that manner in a public area. His genitals were exposed, perhaps, by the zipper, but that's it. But no one would see that. And so I want to make that clear to everyone. Nothing was out there. Nothing was showing.
Joseph Corona says he's sad and hurt, but forgives his wife.
I've got 40-some more years to spend with my wife. I'm not going to throw it away over one incident. I wish that the charges were dropped and that we could resolve this as man and wife. It's more of a private matter.
Well, Suzanne Corona was asked about media reports that she told police the incident was partly the result of her husband of 6 years being a transgender. When asked if that was true, she said yes. Both Corona and Amend are due back in Batavia City Court later this month. Luke Moretti.
Of the law. 41-year-old Suzanne Corona walked into court Tuesday hand in hand with her husband. Corona is accused of engaging in sexual activity with another man at Farrell Park on Friday. Witnesses say they were in plain view of children. She disputes that.
I know nothing inappropriate was observed. There was nothing that a child could have seen. I'm very confident in that.
According to state records, Corona is just the 13th person in New York State charged with adultery since 1972. She entered no plea and is due back in court in 2 weeks.